You're not the only one that didn't notice Uzumaki's drop in quality. The entire internet saw it and it's talking about it. Also, David Hayter says he is voicing a character that he hasn't voiced in 13 years. And, of course, Halo might go multi-platform. Before we get into that, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. And if you enjoyed the video, watch the video all the way through. Tell other people that you want to see this video. Let's get into it. David Hayter may be back in playing Solid Snake, but we don't know who it is. David Hayter, the veteran voice actor behind Metal Gear Solid Snake, has teased a return to the iconic role he last played over a decade ago. Metal Gear creator Hideo Kojima's controversial replace with 24-star Kiefer Sutherland for 2015's Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain. Hayter last played Snake in 2010 in Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker. Look, Metal Gear Solid is like Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain removed David Hayter for a very good reason. And for the people that haven't played that game, you really wouldn't understand why David Hayter was replaced. I get that people were upset, but you actually need to play the game and understand it, why he did that. I understand that Kojima has been trying to get rid of David Hayter. I know a lot of people are like, oh, Kojima's like this nice guy. Yeah, this guy, Kojima is super cutthroat. Like, he is one of those, like, he's literally the David Lynch of fucking, like, video games. Like, he wants to get his way, and he more than likely will get his way in the way he wants to make video games. And one of those was replacing David Hayter. But could a return be on the cards? That certainly seems likely following a cryptic tweet from Hayter himself. I was in the booth today, he said, playing a role I've not played since. Hayter followed up the tweet with a gif of Snake in the upcoming Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater. At first glance, it looks like Hayter is in the booth to record Snake voices for lines in Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater, the hotly anticipated remake of Metal Gear Solid 3. However, Konami has confirmed Delta uses same dialogue audio as the original Snake Eater, and thus all cinematics are frame to frame and line for line identical. So what's Hayter teasing? Fans have all sorts of theories. It could be promotional work for Metal Gear Solid Delta or extra content set to come out with the game. Alternatively, it could be voice work for the upcoming Sonic fan film called Sonic Villains, which Hayter is meant to be voicing Solid Snake of an unofficial cameo. More exciting is suggestion that Hayter is reprising his role as Solid Snake for an unannounced Metal Gear Solid game. If true, what could that be? Look, to be honest with you, the cynical side of me, because this is Konami, like, let's just not get mistaken. As much as Kojima can be kind of cutthroat and all that stuff when it comes to, like, his games and all that stuff, Konami did not need to treat Kojima the way they treated him. Like, yes, is Kojima a little bit of a diva? 100%, he's a little bit of a diva. But, like, what Konami did was really bad. So the cynical side of me is saying that more than likely what this is, and, like, this is probably what it is extra content for Metal Gear Solid Delta. I don't think this means that they're making a Metal Gear Solid 1. Konami just said that they are gonna have a hard time remaking Metal Gear Solid because, like, they tried to do it with Metal Gear Solid 2 with Twin Snakes, and, like, not only was it not well received, it was also extremely easy. That game was really, really easy because of the fact that kind of the first person, like, you being able to be in first person, like, it really made the game a lot easier, because in the game, like, the top view of Metal Gear is built within, like, the gameplay and the story of what that game is. Like, it kind of, like, is the flowing part of the game. It is the essential part of the game. So it's like, if you take that out, like, it makes it feel different, and it makes it feel kind of, like, easier, to be honest with you. Not only that, people didn't like the story, so, like, I really like, they didn't like the liberties they took on the story of Metal Gear Solid Twin Snakes. But I don't know that this is a Metal Gear Solid 1 remake. This is more than likely extra content. As much as I want that Metal Gear Solid remake, you can ask all my friends, like, every single one of them. I've been waiting for a Metal Gear Solid remake for the longest time. Not only that, what I really hope this is, and it's absolutely not this, is that they're remaking Metal Gears, just the first two Metal Gears. Metal Gear, and I think it's Metal Gear 2 where Big Boss gets like burned or whatever and he looks like me. But yeah, that's more than likely what this is. Like, I don't think it's anything else other than that, unfortunately. I wish it was like really cool stuff. And you know what? Give Konami credit. They've been really trying to make better games, and they're starting with Metal Gear, and it looks like they're gonna make a really good remake. But I don't trust them enough to be like, for Konami to do these cool things yet, right? Like, so they still need my trust. They still need to earn it. And yeah, I hope that this is something cool, but I highly doubt it. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. What do you think David Hayter's voicing on? Do you think it's extra content? Do you think it's a Metal Gear Solid remake, a Metal Gear remake? Let me know what you think in the comment section. And remember, you're pretty good. So Halo's been kind of in a rough spot recently. They've been in an area where like Halo is just kind of needs to move on and try new things, which is why I think this move is really good. And a lot of people are kind of upset over stupid things over this change, but we'll get into that in a little bit. Future Halo games moving to Unreal Engine 5 as 343 Industries rebrands multiple projects in development. IGN reports it's a huge shift for Halo series, not the least because of the resources poured into the Slipspace engine over the course of its development. The studio formerly known as 343 Industries notoriously struggled with the Slipspace engine during the Halo Infinite development, in part because it was used tools dating back to the early 2000s. Still, it was expected to serve as the foundation for the series after Halo Infinite. Respectfully, some components of Slipspace are almost 25 years old. Art director Chris Matthews said in an interview with Xbox, although 343 were developing it continuously, there are aspects of Unreal that Epic has been developing for some time, which are unavailable to us in Slipspace, and would have taken huge amounts of time and resources to try and replicate. I've been saying for the longest time that if you're not willing to put like the work and the time into an engine, you really should be using Unreal Engine. Like, you 100% should be using Unreal Engine, because that's a lot of time, guys. Like, I don't know if you guys know how long it takes to make a game engine, but from what I'm not mistaken, like half of that game time, if you're starting new IP, is made into making a brand new engine. So half of the development time, like, so if a game takes like 8 years to make, like a brand new IP game, and you're making a new engine with that game, more than likely that game's going to take that full 8 years to do so, and half of that is going to be on the engine. So yeah, not only that, but it sounds like Microsoft didn't really want to give the resources to update Slipspace, and I really don't blame them. Like, if you're not good at, like, they're not that type of developer. Like, they're not Naughty Dog, who wants to make like a more modern engine every generation and to release that game. And they're not Guerrilla Games. Like, Guerrilla Games is just on another level when it comes to like game engine building. That's the reason why Horizon looks so good on the PlayStation 5 and even on PC. And you look at Death Stranding, that game is also beautiful, which uses Guerrilla Games' engine. An early 2023 report suggested that Halo's developers were ready to hit the reset button on the series after a heavy shakeup within the studio, including transitioning to Unreal Engine. The report also said that Halo developers were focusing on pitching new Halo games while prototyping ideas. Project Foundry appears to be the culmination of that effort. The newly rebranded Halo Studios, for its part, is seeking to forge ahead under the leadership of Prior Henson and Elizabeth Von Wick. With the studio now working on multiple new games, the three stepped into top roles at the studio in the wake of studio GM Bonnie Ross' departure in 2022. With the series veteran Joseph Steen leaving Xbox in 2023, the new name and engine follows Xbox saying earlier this year that full speed ahead on next generation successor to the Xbox X and S. We had disproportionate focus on trying to create conditions to be successful in servicing Halo Infinite, says Hintzel. I'm gonna go with Hintzy, but I'm gonna mess this guy's name up. I'm just letting you know. But switching to Unreal allows us to put all the focus on making multiple new experiences at the highest quality possible. The projects will be ready when they're ready, Halo Studio says. For now, stay tuned for lots more analysis. So Halo is it's been going through a rough patch. And to be honest with you, they don't need to be focusing on making an engine for this game. If that's not what they want to do, and they want more of their creative focus to be in actually making a really good game, then they shouldn't. Not every studio should be made to make their own engine, and I think this is a good choice. Now, when it comes to the multi-platform thing, more than likely it's gonna be multi-platform. I would not be surprised if I wouldn't be surprised if Microsoft wanted to make this game multi-platform and just kind of tell people, here you go, here's Halo on all platforms, so they could sell a lot more money. I think it would be good for the Halo brand. I think it would also be good to kind of reinvigorate it, because it's been a while. It's been a while since we had a good Halo game, and I wish nothing but success on this. They did have a prototype of the entire what they were talking about in terms of how they want the game to look, and it looked really good. The usual people were coming out and saying that this game looks soft because of how they remade it, and it just doesn't look as manly as it used to be, which, to be honest with you, are such the most 95 IQ people I've ever met in my entire life on the internet. These people don't have opinions, they just want to start controversy. And I just want to let you know, if you're one of those people who fall for the whole they're feminizing, or they're DEIing the game, or they're making it softer so they're not as manly, you have an IQ of 95. I'm just letting you know right now, it's fine. We need 95 IQ people, but seriously, they're just taking advantage of you. They're taking advantage of you to make money, and they don't give a shit about you. They're just grifters, my guy. Nobody cares. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you think in the comment section about all that Halo stuff that I just said, and kind of shitting on people for playing it down, even though Halo Studios is literally trying their best. You don't think they want to make a good game? Of course they do. And remember, you're pretty good. I think it's kind of hilarious that IGN's the one that wrote this kind of report for the fact that Alien Isolation 2 confirmed. And the reason why I think that's fucking hilarious, the reason why I think it's hilarious and why I think it's such a good moment to reflect on, keep in mind that Ryan McCaffrey, one of the guys that runs IGN, gave Alien Isolation, which is considered, by the way, one of the greatest horror games of all time, so scary that I will never play it. I won't even watch a playthrough of it. And he gave it a 5.9, which is a really bad score. And and the reason why he gave it a bad score is because he said it could make him forget the debacle that was Alien Colonial Marines, and so he gave it a 5.9. I was okay. Anyhow, on the 10-year anniversary of Alien Isolation's release, developer Creative Assembly has confirmed that a sequel is in development. In a statement making the survival horror classic 10th birthday, creative director Al Hope, that's such a cool name, said the development team would share more details when we're ready. Hope returns to lead development on the sequel, having done so on the first game. In his statement published to Twitter/X, Hope said, "On the 10th anniversary, it seems only fitting to let you know that we have heard your distress calls loud and clear. Today, I'm delighted to confirm on behalf of the team that a sequel to Alien Isolation is in early development. We look forward to sharing more details with you when we're ready." Creative Assembly didn't confirm a final title for the game, a release window, or target launch platforms. Given the sequel is in early development, it will probably be some time before we find out what to expect or get our first look. For now, though, there's genuine excitement from Alien Isolation fans, many of whom had called on Creative Assembly and owner Sega to greenlight a sequel ever since the first game came out. But its existence does come as something of a surprise. Alien Isolation sold 1 million copies within 3 months of going on sale than 2 million copies after 6 months, which was not good enough for Sega to have considered it a commercial success. I don't think everything has to be that first comes out, at least a new IP has to necessarily be, how do you say it, extremely successful in order for you to make a sequel to that franchise. Technically this is a brand new area of Alien, and this is an area that we haven't seen in video games, and it was trying something new. It's not exactly a new IP, but they were coming off of Alien Colonial Marines, which was, by the way, one of the biggest unmitigated disasters of a video game that I've seen in a long time. It's up there with Concord. Alien Colonial Marines, of how bad it was, is pretty much up there with how bad Concord was. And it probably hurt Sega very similarly in terms of how much that game cost to make. But I saw this happen with PlayStation as well when Uncharted came out. Clearly Uncharted needed a sequel, and it didn't sell bonkers. It didn't sell millions of copies. It did fairly okay. I think it sold 4 million, 5 million copies. But PlayStation could see that its fan base was very vocal and also just praising it to all. And it didn't hurt the fact that it got really good reviews as well. So PlayStation made Uncharted 2, which was one of the best decisions, in my opinion, that PlayStation ever made, was making a sequel to that game. Because to this day, it's one of the highest rated video games ever. And also it's probably one of the best games of the entire series of Uncharted. A lot of people like Uncharted 2 more than Uncharted 3. I personally like Uncharted 3 more, but yeah. So it makes sense that Alien Isolation is going to get but I'm pretty sure Ryan McCaffrey is still kind of salty of the fact that this game is being made, because I swear to God, this guy runs IGN, and he gave one of the worst fucking reviews I've ever seen in my entire life. And the reason why it's so bad is because it doesn't line up to what anybody else was saying. It honestly feels like Ryan gave the review such a bad review because of the fact that he was still butthurt about Alien Colonial Marines, which, to be honest with you, is a little bad, but as a professional, that is some of the most unprofessional shit I've ever seen in my entire life. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Are you excited of Alien Isolation 2? And do you think it deserves a sequel? Let me know. And what do you think about Ryan McCaffrey, or with Adam, whatever the fuck his name is? Ryan, right? Yeah, his name's Ryan. Ryan McCaffrey's a review of I'm butchering his last name, but whatever. Let me know what you think in the comment section about his review. And remember, you're pretty good. So if you're going to be a modder, I think my best advice to you is to be smart about modding. And there's a reason why I'm saying this. Nintendo Switch modder who refused to shut down now takes to court against Nintendo without a lawyer. The alleged Nintendo Switch modder who refused to shut down their business despite a warning from Mario Maker Nintendo now appears to be taking the Titan on in court without a lawyer. As reported by TorrentFreak, Ryan Daly, the alleged owner of modding company Modded Hardware, has denied any wrongdoing in court, even that he owns and operates the business at all. Nintendo filed a lawsuit against the Mod Hardware in July, alleging it not only offers the hardware and firmware to create and play pirated games, but also provides customers with copies of pirated Nintendo games. Daly mostly responded to the lawsuit's claim by saying, and otherwise claimed he lacked sufficient information for either to admit or deny the allegations. His defenses include fair use, invalid copyrights, and lack of standing, fraudulent inducement, an arbitration case, failure to state a claim, and unjust enrichment. The lawsuit will now move forward to discovery process, where the likes of dispositions, requests for documents, and so on will take place. The Modded Hardware website has now been made private, with users requiring a password to access it. Nintendo taking legal action over copyright complaints isn't uncommon, but the allegations against Modded Hardware have sparked a particular unusual saga. According to the lawsuit, Nintendo offered Daly an opportunity to walk away in March in 2024, and both parties at the time agreed that Modded Hardware business would stop. but it continued to operate as normal, and a final warning in May 2024 allegedly didn't go anywhere either. As a result, Nintendo filed a lawsuit with a federal court in Seattle, Washington, seeking immediate closure of modern hardware and damages. Typically, when a customer purchases a hacked console on circumvention services, defendant reinstalls on the console a portfolio of ready-to-play pirated games, including some of Nintendo's most popular titles, such as Super Mario, The Legend of Zelda, and Metroid games, Nintendo lawsuit claim. Indeed, because pirated Nintendo Switch games cannot be used or created without hacked console and related software and hardware, it's only because of products and services such as those sold by defendant that illegal marketplaces distributing pirated games exist and thrive. Look, man, Nintendo's in the right here. And modders who do this, hackers who do this, who do the mods that are legal, by the way. The mods are completely legal, and you're more within your rights to do so. Does Nintendo like you doing that? No. But it's not going to sue you over it because it's legal. But if you're selling copies of the games that you're that people are more than likely going to go out and pirate, let's just be real. But if you're doing straight up, including Super Mario, The Legend of Zelda, and Metroid, the big three essentially of Nintendo on the hardware that you're modding, you're breaking the law. 100%, you're breaking the law, and you should be sued. And this not only is unfortunate because more than likely this gives Nintendo more of a high ground setting when it comes to not only modding, but when it comes to ROMs. And Nintendo has hated mods and ROMs for the longest time, and this just gives them more of that high ground that you don't want a multi-billion-dollar company to have, because they gave this guy a chance, not once, not twice, but 3 times, to stop doing what he was doing, and he didn't listen, and now he's being sued. And Nintendo is in the complete right here. But in the future, when Nintendo inevitably sues for ROMs in the United States to be overturned, because currently the FTC is on our side in the United States when it comes to modding and ROMing, that's your right because that's your hardware. But in the future, if Nintendo tries to do so and say the FTC really isn't defending that because there's somebody in there that's incompetent, then yeah, more than likely Nintendo would win. And it's kind of unfortunate, and it's extremely annoying. And I really hope that people stop doing stuff like this, because it just ruins it for everybody. And so make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you think of this lawsuit. Do you think Nintendo's in the right? And what do you think is going to come out of this? I think this guy's gonna get absolutely railed when it comes to him representing himself. I don't think this is gonna go as well as he thinks it is. So hey, let's see what happens. And remember, you're pretty good. So for the past 4 years, Google has been fighting with Epic Game Store when it comes to the warning of installing their app, an app that is not on the Google Play Store, which gives you a warning, hey, we can't control if this is a good app or a bad app, and if it is a bad app, that's might be the case if you do this. And also the 30% of every cut that Epic Game Store would have to give to Google. Not only Epic Game Stores being on the Google Play Store, but also with every game sold, they would have to give them 30% of cut, which, to be honest with you, is a little ridiculous, but that's pretty much industry standard of being on their platform. PlayStation does the same thing for games being on their platform, and but this is a little bit, I don't know, it's a little bit in the mud, but Google will have to open the Play Store to competitors after loss in Epic Game case. Epic Games' latest victory in its 4-year antitrust battle with Google, thanks to the most recent verdict by Judge James Donato in California. Starting in November, Google will have carry third-party Android app stores in the Play Store and grant third-party app stores full access to Google Play's catalog of apps. Google will have to carry third-party Android apps stores in Play Store and grant third-party app stores full access to Google Play's catalog of apps. Epic won a number of other measures as well, beginning on November 1st, 2024. For 3 years, Google will no longer be able to pay companies to launch apps first exclusively through the Play Store. Pay companies so they will not compete with Google Play. Require Google Play billing for apps distributed on the Google Play Store, or offer incentives to pre-install Google Play on new devices, among other changes. Google and Epic Games will form a 3-person technical committee chosen jointly by 2 companies to review any issues in regards to Google compliance. Epic Games Store and CEO Tim Sweeney celebrated the verdict on X/Twitter on Monday, writing, "The Epic Games Store and other app stores are coming to Google Play Store in 2025 in the USA, without Google's scare screens and Google's 30% app tax, thanks to the victory in Epic v. Google." Shares of Google's parent company, Alphabet, sank more than 2% in trading on Monday in the wake of the news. Google, however, has announced that it will appeal the decision, arguing in a blog post that these changes will put customers' privacy and security at risk, making it harder for developers to promote their apps and reduce competition on devices. The company is asking the courts to pause Epic request changes pending the appeal. Ultimately, while these changes presumably satisfy Epic, they will cause a range of unintended consequences that will harm American consumers, developers, and device makers, Google claims. While I do think Epic Game Stores is in the right for doing this, I don't think what they're doing is wrong or any of the sorts. They shouldn't have to pay 30% of every game they sell on their store just to be on the store of Google Play. But at the same time, almost every store does this. PlayStation does this, Epic Game Store does this, and also Steam does this. So I kind of don't really get it. I understand that it's a whole storefront, and them just wanting to be on the app in general is kind of like what they're going for. But I get where Google's coming from in terms of, yeah, like at the very least, give us 30% for everything. 30% for everything is a little much, especially when, I don't know, like this is what I'm saying, like that's how Google lives off of its app that is completely free. That you don't have to pay to use Android. So like I get why they do that, but at the same time, like Epic is doing all the things that it's accusing Google of doing, where it pays certain apps to be on Google only. Epic Game Store does pay certain developers and pays them handsomely in order to have their games only on the Epic Game Store. The reason why PlayStation was only on the Epic Game Store for the longest time was because Epic paid the money in order to do that. So like Epic Game Store is talking from both sides of their face, like essentially like they're saying like this is wrong while at the same time doing it themselves. It just goes to show that there is a lot of disgusting things that corporations do. You would think that they're doing this all like, oh yeah, well we want other people to play our games and do this and that. It's more, a lot of this is greed driven, and I hope that the right verdict comes along. Like I don't care that, like they shouldn't have to pay 30% in my opinion, because that's a lot, 30% of every single game that they sell. But we'll see what happens. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Do you think this verdict is good? Do you think it's gonna go anywhere? And do you think Google will win the appeal? Let me know what you think in the comment section. And remember, you're pretty good. You weren't alone if you were blown away by Uzumaki's first episode and then quickly were disappointed in the second episode of Uzumaki, the adaptation of Junji Ito. And there's a good reason on why it looks so horrible compared to the first episode. Let's get into it. Uzumaki's producer comments on dip in animation quality in since deleted posts. We were screwed over. After fans complain about a noticeable decline in the animation quality after Uzumaki's first episode, an executive producer apparently took to social media to explain that the team was screwed over during the making of Adult Swim's anime. While the posts are no longer live on Blue Sky's account, a Redditor took a screenshot of what appears to be a number of posts from Jason DeMarco, executive producer of Uzumaki and senior vice president of anime and action at Warner Brothers Animation. In the alleged post, DeMarco claims that the team was essentially left with no win proposition and chose the option they felt was best. But again, a lot of people worked very hard on the show, and I didn't think the actions of just one or two people should be the reasons it never saw the light of day, the thread concludes. Maybe that's the wrong choice, I truly don't know, but those people have a right to be annoyed and disappointed. I'm glad you are digging it. IGN has reached out to Adult Swim and DeMarco to confirm the veracity of the post and to request further comments, but we haven't heard back yet. We'll update this post if and when we do. The situation exploded in the wake of Uzumaki's episode 2 release, as fans were shocked by the sudden decline in the animation quality compared to the premiere episode and the trailers leading up to the release. IGN's 8 out of 10 review of the premiere even praised the animation when it added additional flair to the images that were already originally horrific on the page. But it didn't take long for fans to notice a marked difference in the past weekend episode. Some even posted side-by-side comparisons, highlighting the stiffness and lack of depth in the animation quality in episode 2. And the post on X/Twitter featuring clips of the anime quickly went viral. If DeMarco's posts are indeed legitimate and they haven't been denied by either DeMarco or Adult Swim, it's shockingly a candid statement about what went wrong. But given the furor from the fans, it's a little surprising that the disclosure would merit a response of some sort. So he says DeMarco has, when he deleted the post, it originally said that there were people that were responsible why this anime looked so poorly in episode 2. He just can't say why those things happened. And to be honest with you guys, if you haven't seen the first episode of Umuzaki, it really is a great adaptation. In fact, in some ways, it improves the images and gave it its own flair. It was a great episode 1. It really creeped me out. And it was a great show. Junji Ito would probably love how good that first episode was made. But unfortunately, episode 2, you could see that a lot of it was really bad. And I hope that the reason why it looks really bad comes out in the near future, because honestly, it's kind of a tragedy that this anime, and such an iconic anime, looks so poorly. It's not very surprising when it comes to Junji Ito. A lot of his adaptations are kind of screwed up or kind of just don't have the same flair that the pages have on his manga. So like the last collection that they made of Junji Ito really wasn't that good. It was kind of like it just missed a bunch of oomph in a lot of the scenes, and it kind of wasn't as creepy as it was in the manga. So like, this isn't a surprise. It was a surprise that the first episode was good in the first place, because this has happened several times with Junji Ito, and I hope that episode 3 is a lot better, because damn, episode 2 was pretty bad. I'm not gonna lie to you. It looks like when you compare like 2024 anime to the 1990s anime, I'm talking about like early 89 anime. That's how bad it looks. And it's even some 80s anime looks better than this adaptation. So let me know what you think in the comment section. What did you think about episode 2? What do you think happened in the studio for this kind of giant collapse of this anime to happen? Let me know what you think in the comment section. And remember to like, comment, subscribe. And remember, you're pretty good.